Baby man is back.
Oh, okay, boys. Oh my gosh, the ring got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered. Something is true, something but oh, look at that, my God.
This is your boy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash True Inferno. Back at it with another Pokemon Unite commentary video for you guys on YouTube, and as promised, I got topics for days. So 2 weeks ago, I said that I was going to record 5 videos within 24 hours. I only ended up doing 2. Well, 2 weeks later, which is right now, April the 13th, as I'm recording this, that is, I already did a video or recorded a video, which will be out the next day or the day after I did this recording. And that basically give you guys my NBA predictions, not to mention talk about the whole Kyrie, New York vaccine situation. So I did that. So by the time this video dropped, that was last week's video. This week's video is also planned, 2 weeks ago in terms of me talking about it. And then there's going to be another one where I will talk about the whole PlayStation Plus subscription service fiasco. That would be the week after this video drops, because that service won't be released until June. And there's some news regarding streaming services. So even though that's more towards PlayStation, Nintendo, Microsoft, but there's news regarding streaming services, and I will talk about that at the same time as well. Speaking of talking about 2 topics in one video, that's what I'm going to do here. So the original topic here was about Activision Blizzard settling sexual harassment lawsuit for $18 million. Well, I still am going to talk about that, but there's something else that happened recently that I'm going to put in this video, even though it had nothing to do with this video, but it's still gaming news nevertheless. So let's talk about the original topic. So, U.S. District Judge Dale Fischer, how you pronounce his last name, Fischer, approved a $18 million relief settlement with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission today. Well, not today, but like this was a few weeks back. This settlement comes months after Activision Blizzard originally agreed to settle with the EEOC. I'll explain what that was on September 27th of last year. But those attempts to hold the game publisher to account are split on how much of a win this will ultimately be for the victims of Activision Blizzard's quote-unquote frat boy culture. Now, I'm reading this based off an article on Kotaku.com, basically. Let's continue on. During the settlement hearing, a lawyer acting on behalf of the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, so we're talking the DFEH, so the California DFEH, argued that the EEOC's motion to proceed with the settlement was in violation of states' rights to its own jurisdiction. He stated that the EEOC's intervention was due to the egregiousness of Activision Blizzard's violation and not due to normal legal process. The EEOC argued that the DFEH has had months to make the federalism argument, but has instead chosen to broach it at the quote-unquote 11th hour, basically last minute. The DFEH was accused of derailing and delaying the settlement proceedings, while Activision Blizzard was cooperative with the federal government. The exasperated judge reiterated that the DFEH's argument was untimely and that anyone who disagreed with the settlement could take it to the Ninth Circuit Court. According to the Washington Post, the settlement could prevent the DFEH, which is also pursuing legal action against Activision Blizzard, from seeking further monetary damages. This means the settlement could be a loss for both the DFEH's cause and sexual harassment victims of the company, because state agency has historically been more aggressive than federal proceedings, like that of the EEOC. The DFEH is pursuing its own lawsuit against Activision Blizzard, but the organizations claim the EEOC settlement contains a clause that allows Activision Blizzard to remove sexual harassment allegations from the files of settlement claimants, how you pronounce that word, CLAIMANTS, hindering the DFEH trial. The EEOC's opposition, which was filed March 24th, disputes this, saying the consent decree does not require or authorize the destruction of these documents. The settlement also allows the publisher to use unclaimed funds for its own women's charity funds DFEH is wary that control over some of the money could return to the company that the settlement is meant to punish. The original proceedings were held up by the DFEH, which filed a motion to intervene last October. However, that October filing allowed the EEOC to respond with its own opposition, which claimed that the DFEH lawyers were under ethical violations. Wow. Last October, Commissions Worker of America also filed an objection against the then possible settlement with the EEOC. In the labor union's view, $18 million or $450. That's too. Let me finish that. Or $450 per claimant. That's too low. Is a drop in the bucket, exactly, for Activision Blizzard, which paid $15 million to its CEO Bobby Kotick in 2020. Again, that $450 per person, that's too low. In fact, leaving Activision Blizzard will reportedly give Kotick a payout of $390 million. See, you leave the company and you get paid millions of dollars. That makes no sense. Which is an enormous amount of money for the man who received a vote of no confidence from 120 employees. Exactly. The DFEH lawsuit is currently set for February 27, 2023. And there's a correction here. This piece was updated with information from an Activision Blizzard spokesperson about the DFEH's claim regarding the removal of allegations relevant to his own lawsuit. Okay, so there you go with that. So, wow, 18 million. That's really not much. That's not much at all. Cause we talking about the frat boy culture where, and let me be specific here, white men were abusing women, trying to have sex with women, and obviously women was being mistreated, was being threatened by the CEO himself, and it got to a point where a female employee committed suicide. It was severe. It was bad. It was really, really bad at Activision Blizzard before Microsoft bought them. So it was bad. And yet this dude who basically was the CEO throughout all of that, he gonna be bought out and he gonna get 300, basically, no, I ain't gonna say that. But 390 million? That make no sense. And the settlement is for 18 million, excuse me. And I'm like, that makes no sense at all. It should have been much, much more. I don't know why they settled for that low unless Activision Blizzard really got the EEOC in their pocket, basically. That makes no sense. There should have been more repercussions for Activision Blizzard and for their CEO. It just makes no sense. It really, really makes no sense. And it shows you how corrupt corporate America is and why you can't trust them. You can't trust anybody from corporate America. And this goes out to, I forgot what this dude name is who was beeping with Review Tech USA already. I forgot what his name is, but this is the guy who said, oh, I talked to YouTube, aka Google, and other companies. I'm like, why are you a black man talking to companies and getting their opinion and actually trusting them? Like, really? You're going to do that? This is the reason why you don't trust corporate America. This is the reason why you don't trust companies, because of crap like this. Now, so again, on this topic, Activision Blizzard should have lost way more money than that if they want to go with the settlement route. But me personally, I think they should have been highly punished. But because Microsoft bought them, then a settlement would be the best course of action, but it should have been much more money than 18 million. And Bobby Kotick should not be getting paid no 390 million once he walk out the door. That's just blasphemous to me. So now we're going to turn from the original planned topic to the new topic that I'm going to add in this video, and that is this. This year, there will be no E3. So, what's the story behind this? Well, I don't remember if this was early in the year, but basically E3 was like, yo, E3 this year would be a digital event only. It would not be a physical E3, which is normally the case in June. But obviously they did a digital event last year where pretty much it failed. It failed. I'll be honest, it failed. So they were originally planning on doing a digital only event again this year, but that got canceled. Now, even though there's no E3 this year at all this year, but the word is they're going to come back next year. And I've been saying it for a good minute now, for a few years, and I'm going to say it again here. Why is E3 still a thing? It should not be a thing. It should be canceled permanently. I don't know why it's still a thing. it makes no sense to me at all why E3 is still trying to keep going, because it was Nintendo who was like, yo, why are we paying E3 all this money to showcase our games, bro? We could do this ourselves around E3 time. And that's what they've been doing. And people was like, what the heck? They missed out on E3? And people thought Nintendo was dumb for doing that, but actually they were smart because they saving money and they still presenting around E3 time. So they still were getting recognition. People were still watching, but they were doing it at a much cheaper pace because they just record everything themselves. They don't have to pay anybody to showcase what they got. They just open up a YouTube channel wherever and be like, yo, we doing a presentation. Watch us on our own YouTube channel or on our own website or whatever. And people watch. And they didn't have to pay a dime to do any of that stuff. Well, or a lot of money to do a lot of that stuff. So it made sense for them to do that. But now other companies are doing it. Sony doing it. EA, they was doing that EA Play thing, which was going on around E3 time. And you know, that was their own thing. They didn't have to pay E3 for that. And more and more companies are starting to do that. And it makes more sense now because again, it's cheaper and people are still going to watch because they got, depending on who the company is, they got the recognition. So there's that. Another reason is because of the fact that there's hardly any surprises. Like everything is leaked prior to E3 because, you know, people within the media or journalism want to break the story out first so they can get the clout and the recognition, the fame and all that jazz. And it's like, okay, that's good for you, but now we know what happened. So why should we watch E3? It makes no sense. And once upon a time, I did want to go to E3 when it was rare to go to E3 because you have to be a part of the media to get in. Now they just allow anybody in and it's bad. So now I'm like, oh, that desire to go to E3 is gone. It's really, really gone. So I'm looking at the Washington Post regarding why they canceled E3. So it's very, very interesting. And then let's see. Here we go. Here's the quote. We will devote all of our energy and resources to delivering a revitalized physical and digital E3 experience next summer, obviously summer 2023. The ESA wrote in his statement Thursday. ESA, the Entertainment Software Association, in case you're wondering what that is. Continuing the quote, whether enjoy it from the show floor or your favorite devices, the 2023 showcase will bring the community, media, and industry back together in an all-new format and interactive experience. So basically, they not want to waste resources on this year, and they want to put all the efforts into next year, I guess. That's what it sounds like. Now, the statement attributed to the decision to, and I'm quoting here, focus the ESA's resources and use this time to shape our plans and deliver an all-new experience that delight fans who have the highest expectations for the premiere event in video games. So, yeah, there you go. That's basically the reason right there. They want to focus on next year. So, how can E3 make a comeback? Because again, even though they're saying E3 will be back next year, really, it won't have the same effect because again, there's really one reason and one reason why. Spoilers and everything getting leaked. That's really the main reason. So if they could cut that off and by any way, shape, or form, and I had an idea about in terms of how to do that, God, and it was funny. I was in the shower and I came up with this idea a number of weeks back. But now I'm trying to remember it. Basically, with these companies who are going to be presenting at E3 for some odd reason, if anybody reveal news about their upcoming video games, they can find them, they can fire them, I guess whatever the case may be, and they can sue the journalists, I guess. I don't know how they can fix that, but that the spoilers need to be fixed, you know. And really what should happen is this. And again, I don't know how they could do that, but like, okay, here's what I think these companies should do who want to present at E3. Like the well-known and the famous video games like the Assassin's Creed, the Call of Duties, the Battlefields, the Marios, and all that stuff, like the well-known games, the popular games, they need to be kept under wraps. Because what they should do instead and be like, yo, we got these other games that we want to get out there. Y'all can spoil those because again, they don't have the recognition. And we can say, oh, we got something in store, but yo, here's a spoiler of what else we got, you know, and they could display like a brand new IP or an indie game or something like that. Be like, yo, they're going to show this off at E3, but they're going to show other stuff. We don't know what the other stuff is. It's supposed to be big, but this is a taste of what they got as a company. And then we can see these games And eventually be like, oh, I want to learn more about this. And, go from there. But to spoil your Call of Duty early, to spoil your Battlefield early, to spoil your Mario early, whatever the case may be, it's like, why watch E3 if all the surprises, or most of them, are being spoiled? Like a day or 2 or 3 or even a week before E3 happens. It makes no sense. So they need to, like, these companies, if they want to present at E3, they need to do a much better job of keeping these games under wraps. They had no problem doing it when, like, it's a Square Enix Presents or a State of Play address, or what is it, a Nintendo, I forgot what it's called, Presents or whatever, Pokemon Presents, or I forgot what it's called. So when they're doing that, they keep all that stuff on the wraps, but when it comes to E3, they can't keep anything on the wraps. So it's weird. They need to do a much better job of keeping things on the wraps so we can be surprised, so the surprise factor can return to E3, and people can actually have a reason to be excited for E3. And I'm going to call it a wrap. So with all that said, y'all know who this is. This is the boy New J Gatsby, a.k.a. the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.